So my name's Joe. I am a former diabetic. I have reversed my diabetes. My last HbA1c was 5.1. I've lost 120 pounds over the course of my investigation into these diets. I've tried them all. I made it my life's work. I quit Goldman Sachs to focus on diet. I had a hell of a time. It went on for decades, but it's left me in a position where I really understand what works with these diets and what doesn't, and who they work for.
So first and foremost, what do you think about the low-carb diet?
Okay, so from a diabetic perspective, the low-carb diet is helpful because the cause of diabetes is high sugar and high fat. The most obvious thing that the doctors recommend, and it does make sense, is take away the activator, the sugar. And it does work. We are designed to have a period of time on a ketosis diet, but it is not our main fuel source. Our main fuel source is carbohydrates. So it's a fantastic diet to stop emergencies, to lower your blood sugar quickly. It will happen instantly when you go on a keto diet. But if you make that your identity or your lifestyle, you're going to run into problems because the fat in the blood is going to pick up and increase, and at some point you are going to crave your natural diet, which is a carbohydrate, and you are going to pick up an apple and you're going to bite it, boom. It will raise your blood sugar. It will spike your blood sugar because you've got so much fat accumulated, and that's the original problem you're dealing with.
And what do you think about the standard American diet?
Standard American diet will just kill you. It's going to prematurely kill you because it activates the weaknesses in your body and they manifest as what we call illnesses.
Whole food plant-based diet?
The whole food plant-based diet, I think, is probably the best diet for most people. If you're diabetic and if you have a bit of a bingy type background, it's not clear enough because you are going to gravitate to what you probably would be eating less of, i.e. handfuls of nuts and dates, right? And there's nothing wrong with them for a healthy person, but when you are metabolically compromised, you're put into this space that's very broad, whole foods, plant-based, and you're just going to shift to what's not going to work, right? So you need a little bit more rails. But if you're a healthy person, you can't go wrong with it. You cannot go wrong with that. And even a lot of people who aren't extremely diabetic will do very well with that. And I argue that it may even be a better approach because it's more comfortable. But if you are doing that, a little bit off topic, but if you are doing that, you've got to let go of the time. Because what you'll notice is that you'll be healing, right? But it's not fast enough for you to actually notice. So you'll be going, you've got this 12-week program idea in your head, which is very damaging for people who are unwell, that everything should happen in 12 weeks. It might take 2 years, but you might not even notice it. I remember one period I was actually doing very well between the two posts, which might have been 18 months apart, but every day I'm like, I'm failing, because it's not going fast enough. So that's another issue that you might have with that. But I would argue that the most comfortable approach would be just to go whole food, plant-based, but you have to put in some other parameters in the early days because otherwise you're going to run into problems.
And what do you think about the high-fat gourmet raw diet?
High-fat gourmet raw is too complicated to do on your own. You need to live with about 10 people in a house where you've got dehydrators going and you're sharing the food. Otherwise you end up with 20 identical sandwiches because you can't make small quantities.
And 80-10-10, which is led, I believe, by Doug Graham, which is predominantly based on like a raw food diet, right?
80-10-10 diet is a predominantly fruit-based diet with greens and exercise. Most people only read the first two parts, which is fruits and greens, and they leave the exercise alone. Then you're eating a high amount of carbohydrate, not exercising. It can still work, but if you're diabetic, that's going to cause you problems. You've got to improve your carbability, which is your ability to process those foods. And as a diabetic, when you start, it's very low. So you eat this fruit, your blood sugar starts to accumulate, bananas make you pass out, and everyone thinks you're lying because fruit's meant to be God. It isn't. If you're diabetic, fruit can harm you unless you go slowly. What I will add is the author of that diet added You must eat a lot of greens, and people don't do that. Greens pacify sugar in the diet. They just do. And a lot of people leave that behind and they just do the fruit. And then they crash and then they burn.
And what do you think about the standard vegan diet?
Absolutely delicious. It's great if you've never been unwell and you're starting young and you just want to be plant-based for your life. I think you're going to do okay. But if you already have illnesses, it may prevent rapid deterioration, but it's not going to reverse them.
And the raw till 4 diet as a general concept?
Raw till 4 is a great diet. I believe it's a healing diet. 2 meals of raw food in the daytime, 1 at night for your socializing and emotional eating. There's nothing wrong with it as it is. We used to call it high raw, and it's a very successful diet. If you can do that, go right ahead.
And what do you think about raw till 4 as an online phenomenon?
In principle, the online raw till 4 is a great diet. It's raw food in the daytime and it's cooked food, high carb food at night. It's a very, very healthy diet. The big issue with it is this eat unlimited quantities, because unlimited quantities for one person is not the same as someone else. I could eat so much food, right? And other people had that problem. People ate so much food they would gain weight, or they've got very high metabolism, or they've got very, very low insulin resistance, so the diet works. But once you throw in an unlimited calorie amount plus a calorie goal, then for some people in the population, that is going to create a lot of harm.
What about the 30 bananas a day diet?
30 bananas a day is like, it's so catchy, it's so great, bananas are great, but 30 bananas a day made me really unwell as a diabetic. It's so much sugar going in all in one go. If you're already lean, you're already fit and you're doing quite well, it's a great thing to do. You'll feel fantastic. Your digestion will really improve. But as a diabetic, I'm passing out.
Gluten-free? What do you think about the gluten-free diet?
Gluten-free diet is just really for someone that has allergies. It's not going to be that, it's not enough to change your health just eliminating gluten. If you have an allergy, it will help, but it's not going to change your health. You could have a standard American diet and it could be gluten-free.
And finally, what's working for you at the moment? What would you recommend?
When I want to have great blood sugars, like pristine blood sugars, I eat above ground vegetables with nice sauces, spices, and a bit of protein. When I'm socializing, because how often do we really socialize around food? It's not as much as we pretend. I eat a regular vegan diet. It might be 1 meal, 2 meals a week, but the rest of the time, when I control my food, I go for above ground vegetables in bowls of sauces and spices, and then fruit.
Thank you so much. I think people find this video interesting because you've got not just a unique perspective on this, but I think you've been through a lot of years of researching this and trying different things. And so I think a lot of people who want to get healthier or want to tackle their type 2 diabetes will find this very helpful.
Everybody who's contributed to these diets is trying to be of benefit in some way. All of these diets are promoting, or all of the plant-based diets are beneficial for the animal welfare. They all provide some health benefits because they're all leaving stuff out. And all the people who've created them have done the best they can with the knowledge that they can at the time. The problem with all of these branded diets is you are an individual. And if we all grew up in a tropical environment, we would all eat the same diet. But everyone is coming from different gene pools, different backgrounds, different hormonal imbalances, different illnesses. So you've got to tailor the diet to not where you are. You're not a bonobo living in the jungle. You're you with your issues, and you've got to make the diet work for you, whatever that is. And if you're diabetic, that means that you don't ask the guru if you can eat this, you ask your blood sugar meter. That is the key.